So before I introduce our next guest, I want to give you a glimpse of the world that he's created and an initiative called AIonization that we're going to talk about. So we'll watch a brief video and get going.
Crazy to think.
Miki Mikitani, please join me up here. Please have a seat, have a seat.
Thank you.
So I asked ChatGPT.
So many people.
So many people.
I was thinking about just maybe 100 people, but.
No, so many people, and maybe we'll take a picture on our way out.
Yeah.
So I asked ChatGPT, I said, I need a 20-minute and 20-second introduction of Miki to truly capture who he is. And so this is what I got. Hiroshi Mikitani is a visionary leader and one of Japan's most influential figures in business. As the founder and CEO of Rakuten, the largest e-commerce site in Japan, he has revolutionized digital e-commerce. Mikitani's leadership and innovation have earned him numerous national and international awards, that's true, recognizing his profound impact on both the global technology landscape and economic development. Pretty good, right? It's pretty good, and also quite accurate. So before we begin our conversation, I'm on the board of Rakuten.
Which you relax is that I made many failures too.
I mean, many failures, which is part of progress, right?
Yes.
I'm on the board of the company, so put that out there so you don't Google it and say, she never mentioned that. So Miki, over the last year and a half, everyone's talking about AI. It's come to us, kind of barreled towards us in these extraordinary ways. And before we delve into AIonization and what you're doing, what do you think of AI? How are you making sense of it?
Well, it's kind of resonant when we started internet business 27 years ago, when nobody was buying anything on the internet, and we believed this is going to be the future. What I thought was the power of the internet is not about high speed. It's about how you can connect the data, right? So because of the hyperlink, or this new file system is going to connect all the information all over the world. Internet speed at that time was 14.4 kbps, which is like 100,000 times slower than now.
Wow.
It's like a speed of a baby, but you can connect the data, right? So I thought this is the revolution, and the world is going to be flat sooner or later. At that time, maybe the design of a Chinese car was not looking so good, but I was very sure that now they will be able to learn from all over the world very instantly, and will be able to really learn it.
Yeah.
So I think the AI is going to be, very powerful, and obviously it is going to be our tool, very powerful tool. I don't know I don't know whether really the singularity will come or not. It's above my prediction. But now, if you don't use AI, whether you're a small company or big company, it is going to be very difficult to survive.
Difficult to survive.
Yes.
Is that serious?
I think so, because your competitor is going to be 20, 30% more efficient, right? Sooner or later, you will be in a very, very difficult position.
Yes. Speaking of efficiency, you told me I could ask you anything up here. And so I wanted to ask you, you have trillions of data points that you are collecting from your 70 businesses daily.
In Japan.
In Japan,
Yeah.
daily. How are you leveraging that data for your businesses?
So we started from e-commerce, and then one thing I did was I didn't follow the textbook of business school, right?
Yeah,
Many
and he's an
yeah.
alum, he's an HBS alum. Yeah,
So at that time, what we were taught was just focus and specialize.
yeah,
And market will decide, what to invest. That was the conventional sort of wisdom of the business management and strategy. But I thought, no, this data, we can connect everything from the day one. So that's why I decided to go into e-commerce first, because transactional data is very, very powerful. So what we have, but some other hyperscaler don't have, is a transactional data. They have the behavior data, they have a social graph, but of course, probably Jeff has a transactional data, maybe Walmart has a transactional data, but they do not have financial data. They don't have a travel data. Now we have a mobile company, we have mobility data too. I know who went from Tokyo to Hokkaido, but they didn't use our service. I can predict who is stood up in Roppongi drinking, wine and whiskey until 3 a.m. Maybe it's not a good person to sell life insurance, right? Maybe I'm one of them, by the way. But of course, we need to be very sensitive about privacy.
Yeah.
But with a very strict consent, we can utilize it. And from day one, we created what we call customer DNA. We call it CDNA, maybe from 20 years ago. And initially, we were just using traditional hardware and created a database. The database has its limitation. We have too much data. So database became a data warehouse, and this massive amount of computing and a creative way to organize the data is really became important. And the way we bridge, another one thing we have done is we created the first reward program on the internet. And I remember I came to Harvard Business School and consulted to the professor of the marketing. And because everybody thought creation of like a point system on the internet doesn't make sense, because internet is about equilibrium. It's a market system. So why do you want a discount instead of giving a points? I thought maybe it may be the sense, but maybe it's not just about economics. It's maybe a fun of accumulating some value and so forth. So we create a currency which we can connect, one business to another. So what we have done is the more services you get more points.
Yeah.
But now we can recommend you, you should use our travel business because it's much cheaper than just going online or just going to the real travel agency. So the creation of our very gamified points program, using as a internal currency to cross-sell our services with a big data, was from the beginning of our design.
It's like you built this ecosystem, and,
Yes.
and early on, maybe it was about 14 years ago, when we'll talk about English in a moment, you had all these businesses and you're building this ecosystem, you have member IDs that connects everyone, and everyone thought, what is this? and even in last day, I'm talking to a fabulous investor, one of our alums, who's like, I just don't get the 70 businesses. you bought a bank at some point. Like, how did you think about constructing this ecosystem, which now many organizations are thinking very deeply about? How did you, can you give us like 2 or 3 things to think about in the ecosystem building?
Well, you know, internet is open space.
Yeah.
So for me, it is about how to get a brain share, right? Why do you go to Google to search? Why do you go to Amazon.com to buy something? Because your brain is a major brand, your primary brand to search or, you know, buy things. So how can I get a brain share without having massive sort of a service like Google search? So then I started to think about, you know, why people buy the product, why people choose slightly cheaper milk at the supermarket. And it's not just about pure economics, it's just about fun to find a bargain product. If you have the, when you go to the supermarket, you think about, should I buy organic carrot or just carrot, right? And then you maybe wonder for 1 minute and you ended up buying organic carrot without knowing whether it's really organic or not.
Yeah. There's no evidence.
Right. But I think this is like how you can create a brain share so that people started to think, oh, now I'm a member of Rakuten Services. So this kind of membership concept is what we invented on the internet. And many companies started to copy, right? I think that's, if you go to, you know, many services in Japan, they are really learning from what we have done. They start banking. Now they are thinking about starting mobile businesses, which I think is one of the craziest challenge we made.
Yes.
But I think not really trapped by the conventional wisdom, but think one layer below to think why people come to your service and use it. It's just not about convenience. It's just not about efficiency. It's also about the fun.
Yes.
Right? So how can I make it more fun? And so our point system is not just about economics. You can buy crypto, you can buy ETF, you can buy US dollars, you can pay time deposit. We have different type of points. You can play games. So that's what we designed.
Yeah, yeah. And when I go to Tokyo, I can go to a store, any store, and they'll ask me, are you paying with Rakuten points? I'm like, I'm not in that system yet.
You don't? You're not?
Oh, no, I should be.
What a
I should be.
disappointment.
He's always like, where's your mobile phone? Where's your, I'm like, okay, when. AIization.
Yeah.
We saw a very brief video. Tell us about, I'm hearing music, as long as it's not me. Tell us about AIization. What is it? What have you built around it, and any results?
Yeah, so obviously there are several aspects. On the product side, we partner with some of OpenAI, we partner with Google, and we are also developing our own generative AI because sometimes it's too expensive to utilize OpenAI for everything. Yeah. And we need to charge to our client, it is going to be very expensive. So we kind of cherry picking, this is something we should develop by ourselves or more generative thing, then we should use OpenAI. And then of course we have much simpler machine learning for image recognition, image generation, and those kind of things. And one reason we can attract many talented AI engineers and data scientists is the fact that Rakuten is started from Japan, but it's a very global organization. We changed our internal communication language from Japanese to English. Was it like 8 or 9 years ago?
14 years.
14, oh my God. 14 years ago, I don't even remember. Yeah, I need AI.
Huge, yeah.
That made people attracted because the amount of, not amount of data, but the diversified data we have is very, very unique. And some people like, you know, going to work for like OpenAI, which is a little bit more academic or more general. Some people wanted to come to us and make sure that they have a better sort of shopping experience, and the conversion rate went up significantly by doing this, and want to have more tangible results. So this is like their playground, right? This is their playground, and making a playground to attract talent is very important. That's one thing. The other side is more how we can use it for business. So I created a concept called Triple 20, which is we're gonna make our operational efficiency 20% more efficient. And we're gonna utilize it for the marketing, so 20% marketing efficiency. And third part is we would like to empower our clients, our merchants, hotels. We have 400,000 of them in Japan. So we want to create a tool to empower our merchant by 20%. This one is a little bit, we don't know whether we can quantify it, but just conceptually, we would like to help our merchant. Because all these small and mom and pop shops and small hotels don't know how to use it. So that's why some teams was so interested, because they have this general generative AI,
Yeah.
but how can you let all these small players utilize it
Yes.
is another thing.
So triple 20. 20% productivity or efficiency inside of Rakuten, 20% marketing, 20% for any of the 400,000 customers. Any results yet? Are you hitting anything yet?
Yeah, of course, the easiest thing is like a customer service that, for example, Rakuten Mobile used to spend about maybe $8-9 million per month. It's now came down to $2 million. And
So wait, I want to make sure. From 8 to 9 million to 2 million.
yes,
And triple 20 was introduced late fall last
yeah.
year.
But we started working on AI before that.
Oh, yeah. But the triple 20 mandate.
Yes.
And so you've already gone down from 8 to 9 million to about 2 million.
Yes.
Rakuten Mobile.
Yes.
Okay,
But that's one thing.
that's one.
Yeah, but what we have done is we asked, send out a question how you can use AI and create all these bullet points for vertically. And we lay out all these the businesses and departments and started to check, are you using this or not? So then some businesses using, for example, AI for improving their internet marketing, but some are not. So how can we present it to entire employees and say, why you are not doing this, and so forth, right?
And so how have you helped them develop these skills enough to be able to do that, though?
Well, there are some very, very easy tool to begin with. So we need to let them use it. It's like riding a bicycle, right? You have to use it. And then if you told me this 30% rule, and they also wanted to understand basic of the prediction model of generative AI. They do not need to become, really engineers, but they need to think about how to use it. It is, for most of the employees, much more important. Yeah. It's like learning how to use PowerPoint or Excel.
Yeah. So the 30% rule comes from my work, my second book. Well, my first book was actually about Rakuten, about transformation. Continues to be one of the best radical change companies I've ever seen, and continues to inspire folks in the digital phase. And the second book, The Digital Mindset, really looks at how to implement these things. And the 30% rule just says you only need to know 30% of kind of the universe of AI and digital in order to be fluent enough to work on this. And that's what we're doing at Rakuten as well.
Yeah. So every Monday morning, we have an all-company meeting. About 20,000 people join, to not physically all of them, but virtually. And we share the best practices. Now, 60-70% of the content we share in the Monday morning meeting is about AI, so that not only this management level of the people can learn, but also every single people in our group can learn across different businesses.
So every week?
Every week.
You're talking about AI?
Yes.
Company-wide?
So I said the management topic, we said, okay, let's quantitatively discuss 50% related to AI.
Yeah. So it really shows to the whole company that this is our priority.
Yeah.
And it also helps people get ideas and learn. And I'm looking at Ting right over there, who is the AI expert, chief AI expert, who is educating a lot of us. What are some of the challenges that you're facing? We're seeing some savings in extraordinary ways, and you gave you a glimpse of a little one, but what are some of the challenges, and what worries you about this?
Well, obviously, you know, it's sometimes not really, we need to have going through the painful process to change the process, right? And that's number one. Number two, we need to be careful about security concern and making sure that we do not violate some of the human rights and copyrights and so forth. So we need to educate our employees. It's a very powerful tool, but at the same time, you need to be very careful about the ethical and legal part of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the tricky part. In
Yes.
fact, that worries some organizations so much that they're not touching it,
Right.
getting themselves in trouble. You've talked a lot about the human side as well of AI. What is your thinking? There's this debate. Do we lose the human side? What about emotions? What about some forms of creativity? What are your reflections on this? You've been at this for some time now, including data science.
Well, I think it's like a electric guitar and acoustic guitar, right?
Electric and acoustic guitar. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, I'm stretching my mind now.
Well, it's you know, obviously it's the more advanced, it will become more close to human in terms of kind of touch and feel. But you know, I think our approach, maybe you know, people have a different the concept, but our approach or my approach is how to really utilize AI to become more unique, more hospitable, for example. Not like, you know, create a robot which can replace a human. It's always the co-pilot. And a simple task, of course, we can replace it. But the interface, I believe in more human-to-human communication. For example, we talked about TikTok. Why TikTok is so interesting. If TikTok is all generated by AI, maybe people may not get so intrigued or interested, right? There's some human factor in it. So I think it's same for shopping. Our model is very different from Amazon. I designed Rakuten Marketplace so that I can help small to medium-sized merchants not to destroy them, right? So we would like to use AI to help them, and then if you buy like drink at supermarket or small shops rather than buying from the vending machine, you have a different feeling, I think, right? So I think if you think about where this commerce came from is common merit, right? You have to really help people who produce the product. We need to respect them. We need to empower them rather than, you know, basically abusing data to destroy the business. That's the concept of Rakuten.
You know, one of the things that I've heard you talk about is if you use generative AI to try to create your business 27 years ago, would it tell you some of the things that you've ended up doing? What are some of the limitations that worries you about generative AI?
Well, of course, it's a prediction model based on the data. So if there's nobody has ever done it, then we will say yes or no. If you ask them 27 years ago, shall I start internet marketplace? Probably they will say no.
No, yeah, doesn't make
Right.
sense.
And
Yeah.
if I say, okay, shall I start this crazy new mobile company in Japan? Probably they will say no.
No.
Right. So, and then because I think it's, if you think about it, it will give you the most likely right answer based on massively available data. It's not like unique. They will not really probably give you the very, very unique different idea. And that's limitation, I think. And then sometimes, if you think about it, Uber, right? Travis, or our, alumni, Anthony, who started the Grab in Southeast Asia. We were having a breakfast with him, and he said, in Thailand, ride sharing was illegal, but he didn't care. He just kept doing it. But if you ask AI, because you have to be legally compliant, and it said, don't do it, right? Because it's illegal.
Yeah.
But it sometimes, this legal framework is old,
Yeah.
right? Legal framework.
We're not in any way saying be illegal. Yeah, I don't even know how to. So yeah, Mickey.
Oh, should I stop talking?
Stop recording. No, but what you're
No.
saying is the old frameworks are not helping us think about inventing a new future.
Yes, sometimes you need to challenge,
Yeah.
right? This, and then sometimes it will have a very catastrophic negative consequences. But you have to challenge it. The technology will change everything, and sometimes you need to have the guts to do it. You need to take a chance. So even think about it. If you have batting average is 20%, but you make a grand slam out of 20%, then maybe you should take a risk and do it, right? But my opinion is most likely AI will give you very good batting average, but not robust, totally different idea. I mean, I may be wrong, but that's what I think.
No, I get it. I completely get it. Because even thinking about the BCG study, the landmark study, some of the findings was that in some of the brainstorming tasks, there wasn't variation among the consultants because they were using the generative AIs, the same set of ideas. So the variation was low, and I think that's what you're touching on.
Well, can you be very, very, very unique?
Yeah.
And think it differently, different angle to see things. Like we are doing this, new biotech company, and ex dean, Nora Nitin is a chairman.
Yeah.
And everybody thought this is a crazy idea, but we think it is going to work,
Yeah.
right? So, and then maybe it could have failure, but we thought it is going to work, and that's a combination of different, special knowledge of the biology, nanotechnology, and photophysics. We combine it, and what can we produce?
Yeah.
So maybe AI can do something like this in the future, but probably not now.
Yeah. So we have to spend a moment on Englishnization, because when you first introduced it 14 years ago, corporate Japan, I mean, the media went crazy. That's corporate Japan said things like, that guy's crazy. But in a way, it helped you prepare for globalization and so many other things. And I think a big lesson there for us is whatever you do now, you'll see the benefits so much later. What kind of advice do you have for many leaders at different levels of organizations to get started with AI? What do they need to do? And what do they need to do personally? And what do they need to do organizationally?
Well, factually, whether it is good or bad, or whether you like it or not, it is coming. It will come, and it's going to keep, being progressing for I think long time. It will become more sophisticated, smarter, for sure. You have to do it. The answer is you have to do it, and you have to have a little bit more concrete approach of deploying it, right? And then you need to get a buy-in from your employees, not only from the very professional level, but even from the staff level, that this is going to be the calculator or Excel sheet or PowerPoint in the future. You have to use it. For example, in Japan, not so many people can speak English or Chinese. So now they started to use these auto translation AI machines to translate. So that's why there are so many people, coming to Japan. Not only Japanese is so weak, but
Yeah.
that's another topic.
That's another panel.
Maybe
Yeah.
AI can answer how we can make yen stronger. I hope. But anyway, so everybody started to really understand, but they better understand how it works. It's not the magic box; it's the algorithm, right? And so I think of course, you can use calculator to do 9 multiplied by 9.
Yeah.
But you should really know what does it mean. So I think this basic education to the staff, entire staff, is very, very important.
Yes, yes. In 2019, you mandated coding for everyone, Python, so that people will have a coding mindset. You've done that with English and now with AI. And one of the things I've always admired about you, and Mary talked about this earlier, is not only your level of curiosity, but you yourself go out and learn these things. What are you doing, including, you talked about the weekly sessions. What are you doing to learn about AI, even to help you think more deeply about it personally?
Well, of course, I'm not the AI engineer.
Yeah, yeah.
I cannot code, large language model. But we really need to think about where and how it is becoming more efficient. Right? That's my curiosity, my major part. But I think we need to keep learning it. Sometimes I really don't understand what they're talking about, but it's important. Right? I pretend I understand.
You pretend, you pretend.
But I think it's, and then you get used to it. When I started this we joined this biotech company, we really didn't understand what this, compound of different conjugate for, anti-cancer drugs and so forth. But you gradually started to learn, and that's what we're doing. And of course, I try to use it as much as possible by myself, right?
So you could see what it does and
Yes.
experience it, yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's really good tool. One day, yesterday, I was walking on the street with my wife in California, and there was a red tree. It's not really fall, but it's a red tree. So I became really curious, and I asked, ChatGPT, why this tree is red, and how red tree can make a fluorescence. It should be green. And they started, explaining everything to me. And I learned a lot of biology within 3 minutes, rather than taking 3 hours of biology lesson, right?
Exactly.
So people who will start using it sooner or later, it is going to be a very powerful tool for the learning too. Right.
Miki, here from Japan, by way of California, thank you so much
Thank you very much.
for joining us.
Thank you.